So I'm going to start with the short guy. And as far as forms, I kind of think I liked the paper ones better on these weird fingers, but I will check out this metal one and see what I think too. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to get that thing on there. Alright, so now that I've got that on there, I'll start to build. And we can talk more about like the cuticle area too. So I've got some acrylic with some glitter in it. Do you guys want me to use that?
Yeah, I want to see what it looks like.
Okay. So I got it off of Amazon. I don't think it's the greatest stuff. I thought it was going to be like actual acrylic, but what I really think it was just like glitter. So I pretty much just had to mix it in with my clear acrylic. So that's what I've done, is mix it in with like the clear powder. And it works okay, but like I can't really pick up really big beads with it, is the disappointing thing. I'll show you a little more up close, but like that's pretty much the biggest bead I can pick up. Which isn't that bad, but so I'm just going to place that down there, wipe my brush off, and then lightly tap and just kind of mold it where I want it to go. And then I'll do like a clear overlay too once we get a good glitter base. So one thing that helps when the working around the cuticle area too, especially, is like when you're doing somebody's nails, is holding their fingers down, because it helps the product to, like, you know, gravity kind of helps the product to just like not get built up on the cuticle, because it's gonna naturally want to flow a little bit down. And I think that's the point of these fingers, because as you can tell, they like point way down, which is kind of weird, but I think it does help you overall. I mixed 2 different colors of glitter on this. It's like a I've got to turn it towards me, sorry. It's like a goldish copperish and then a purplish together. I'm going to try to sit to where I can like not have to turn it away from me. Okay. So when I go to do the cuticle area, I'm going to start with getting a bead, and then I'm going to place it right here, and then I'm going to just like gently like push it back into the cuticle area, but just really being gentle enough to where I'm not going to get it like on the skin or like anywhere that I don't want it, because like as we know, a lot of things can be filed out and perfected, but it can get pretty hard if you actually get it up on the cuticle or in the skin. And you don't want it to be really thick at the cuticle anyway, so that's kind of why, you know, you can just like place your bead away from it and then kind of push it back into the cuticle area, if that makes sense. And if anybody has any questions, just feel free to speak out, okay?
I had to walk away for a minute, so I kind of missed a little bit what happened.
Okay. When did you walk away?
Like right after you started putting the bead on.
Okay. I don't really know. I was basically just talking about like,
I heard the cuticle part and blending it well.
and what now?
I heard you talking about like blending it well with the cuticle and the.
Right. Okay.
Like, yeah.
That was pretty well the gist.
Okay.
I was just talking about how, like, you know, a lot of things can be filed out and everything, but that's one of those things that can't really, because, like, for example, it's kind of just like when we talk about sealing the free edge, like when we do shellac. You have a seal there. So if I have this nail and I get the acrylic up on here and then I try to file that off, there's client skin underneath of that. So there's not really a good way to do that without really, you know, filing on their skin, A. So you really want to avoid getting it on the skin at all costs. And B, you're breaking that seal, so it's going to lift. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, well now that I've gotten some glitter built on there, I'm just gonna do the clear over top of it. And I don't remember which one. I'm gonna use this thing. So same thing when I was talking about the cuticle. I'm gonna put that bead right there. And then I'm just gonna like press it back gently. It's taken a while longer to set up than the other one did. And then just moving the rest of my product down. Got my bead. Laying it down. Wiping off the excess. Okay, so I'm going to do one more bead on that of the clear, and that's all I'm going to do. Now it's important to encapsulate when you're working with glitter, because when it comes to filing, you want to file your clear powder, because if you file an actual piece of that glitter, it can look weird. I'm just going to give that a little bit of time to set up. And we'll move on to one right like this. just gently press it back into my second zone. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Gonna get another bead, pretty good size, put it in the middle, wipe my brush off, and then again I'm gonna just gently push that back into my third zone. And smoothing that over the enhancement. And if you'll notice, I still have not even touched the back of the cuticle. I'm still working back. These ones I think are much easier to work on. Those other ones are just plain weird. But okay, so now that I'm working in the very back edge where the cuticle is, I'm still not pressing it into that. I'm putting it a little bit forward. That way I give myself some space to be able to like push it back slightly. Now the glitter does make it a bit more of a challenge because you'll have some of your glitter pieces that want to slide around and stuff. But okay, so that pretty well does that, and then I'm just going to go in with my encapsulation and cover that up. So let's start, when you guys start working on the ones with a free edge like that, not the weird guys right now. You don't have to start yet, but just when we do start. So again, with my clear bead, I've got that, you know, more or less in the center, and I'm just going to barely push that back into the cuticle area. Give it some time to set up a little bit and then bring it forward.
Are we gonna have like finals or something?
We are meeting with Miss Carter tomorrow at 11 to talk about finals.
Okay.
So I will give you guys an update on that as soon as I know. We are doing some type of finals, but I'm not exactly sure what we're doing, whether it's going to be a timed assessment or partially, you know, on paper, or if it's just up to the individual instructor. I'm not sure yet, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. Okay, now, what I want to talk about is filing. So, you know, we know when I take this form off, it's not very pretty. So, what I'm trying to say is that you can take something that's not pretty and make it pretty by filing. It's kind of like, for example, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of like hair color videos, but do you know how, let's say, like somebody gets highlights or just any kind of like lightening process, and then, you know, that's the foiling part, and getting the, you know, the bleach in the hair and lightening it is only, you know, half of the process. And then once they rinse that out, that's when they go in like with their toners and their shadow roots and, you know, blend the roots really nicely and make it seamless and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what I compare, like your acrylic application is only half of it. Then you have to take a lot of time and file really nicely to make it really nice. So start with your perimeter, and what I mean by that is just like the shape of your nail. So I'm just gonna like file the sides of this. And obviously the more you do this, you know, the less filing you'll have to do. When you're working on real people, you'll have a lot less filing to do. Another thing that I want everybody to start really focusing in on too is like cleaning up their polish applications. You know, I don't expect anything to be perfect. What I do is not perfect at all. But when we do polish, we definitely want to make sure that, you know, if we have polish around the cuticle area and stuff like that, we really have to go back in with a cleanup brush and clean that up. We can't just leave it, you know, as it is. So just really be meticulous and like pick up your enhancement and look at it really close and see, you know, where you might need to file down spaces. Okay, and then once you have like the perimeter, you know, then you'll go in and you'll file horizontally. And that's what that's going to do is like smooth out the top of your enhancements for like if anything is uneven or built up too much, and just is like overall going to make it nice and smooth and even. And you're looking while you're doing this to, you know, say, well, this area right here needs filed in a little more, so I'm gonna do that. Or this cuticle needs tapered in a little bit more, so I'm gonna do that. So it's not just about, you know, going over it like this. You really have to look and see like, oh, well, that area is bumpy, so I need to do that right there. From different angles, you know, just like you would if you were getting your nails done. Yeah, and I mean, once we have that, meeting is probably going to end soon. Then we can dust it off. And even after you dust it, like when you're filing, are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
My battery is like going dead, so I can't see you guys, but like after you are doing your filing, it's gonna hide a lot of things from you because so much dust is being accumulated on the nail enhancement. So like file twice, like file, and then once you get your dust off, look again and say, oh, well, I missed that spot there, or maybe even I need to add more there, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Send you guys a picture of that if you want, so you can see better. But does anybody have any questions? No? So like for example, see how that's a little bit bumpy? So when this ends, I'll send you guys a new code, and then you can hop back on, and at that point, I'll just have you guys work, and I'll watch you, and you'll be able to ask questions and all that kind of stuff. What is everybody feeling like they're having trouble with as far as acrylics? Like what step is hard for everybody?
Cuticle.
Okay. Like with what I was talking about, like as far as like getting it like back far enough but not on the cuticle?
Yeah, I have a problem with it touching the cuticle and then being able to blend it right.
Okay.
Because I think it's these fingers really.
Well, and sometimes, I mean, what I'll even say is like, it's the same thing kind of like with shellac, you know, because our thing is like we always think we have to have it, you know, right up against the back of the nail. But in the beginning, I mean, it'll come eventually, but in the beginning, just don't even bring it back to touch the cuticle. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's not covering the whole entire nail plate. Because like it's better, I would rather that than it be on the cuticle, if that makes sense. And then eventually you'll just get more familiar with like being able to push it back.
I think for me, sometimes I get carried away with the thickness. Like, and I know that has a lot to do with like how big of a bead you pick up, but I kind of have issues with like portion control with that.
Okay. That's a good
I don't know,
point.
like I've noticed like some of my nails will be thin and then others will be thicker.
Yeah.
And I have issues with like figuring out like a happy medium.
Yeah. And you'll catch on to that, and I mean, it's a lot dependent upon just like what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like if you're adding a lot of length, like you're gonna have to make it kind of pretty thick, especially in the apex, just because it has to be strong enough to hold that length on. You know, but if you're doing an overlay, sometimes it doesn't have to be quite as thick. And like a lot of times, you know, clients have their own preference and whatnot, but they don't normally know what they're talking about, but just saying. But we can pretend that they do. litter, baby.